Hello guys, welcome to Mike's DVDs and Blu-rays collection. It's a channel where I show videos that I own, new releases, old releases, everything in between. And today guys is special. This is the third annual Western Star of the Summer Western Movie-A-THON. Now I've done this the past couple summers. Summer before last I did Randolph Scott, where I showed off all his westerns starting it from 1946 to retirement. Last year I did Joel McCREA, and I did basically all his westerns. There was a few missing that I couldn't find or weren't on video or something, but I did almost all Joel McCREA's videos, which you can check out on my channel. And this month I am spotlighting, or for this summer I'm spotlighting Audie Murphy, one of the greatest screen's heroes and, you know, Western stars that we've ever known, Hollywood's ever known, the world's ever known. Great guy, real life and other. I mean, what can I say? But I'm going to spotlight his movies. I'm going to try to go through all of his movies, all his westerns that I have, which he mainly did westerns. A lot of these movies will be on this one 2-volume large DVD set that I have with him. It's got like 20 some films of his, like about 20 films or something like that. So a lot of these I'm going to call off are in that set, so I don't have an individual version of it, but I'll talk about that set and some of the other releases as we get to it. So just a little backstory on Audie Murphy. Great hero. I mean, short version of his story was he grew up a poor sharecropper in Texas. I think his father left home at an early age, which left him and his I think he had two brothers, a sister and brother, I believe. There may have been 3 others, and his mom to basically take care of this farm and struggle during, I believe, part of the 30s, during the Depression and everything. And I think his mom died when he was about 15, 14, and he basically raised his brother and sister, or brothers and sisters. I can't think of exactly how many people he had. Family, but he basically raised them his own. He was doing all the work. He was, you know, all this. It was in a small town. Everybody knew everybody. Everybody kind of helped out and stuff. So there were people that were there if he needed them, you know, and stuff. So, but at an early age, he tried to join. After Pearl Harbor, he tried to join the, I think, the Navy, the Air Force. In the Army and everything, and you know, he got into the military. I'm trying to make this short, guys, but he got into the military. He became one of the most decorated soldiers ever. I mean, to the point where they have the Audie Murphy medal now, where if a soldier does basically goes above and beyond his duties, he's awarded the Audie Murphy Award because he shot and captured like record numbers of people during World War II over in France. He made major. I think when he got out, he was a major. He was one of the most decorated soldiers. I'll show a picture here of just all the medals he had. He was one of the most decorated soldiers. And he's really somebody that people could look up to. I think he wanted to be a positive image for people. You know, he was kind of a small guy, and he wasn't expected to do all this. That's why he kind of got rejected from the other armies and stuff, because he was too young or he was too little. I mean, he wasn't small, but he was, I think, average. Maybe he was 5'5", 5'6". Or something, maybe smaller, but he wasn't a big guy, but he was a big hero. And after he got out of World War II, there was some promotion, being the most decorated soldier. His story was out there, and people wanted to meet him. He went on tours a little bit. Some publicity here and there. And I think one of James Cagney's brothers or something kind of discovered him. He kind of came out to Hollywood, did some training, acting training, did some karate, judo practicing, doing stuff. And basically that project didn't work out with them. They were going to do a movie together. They didn't happen. So he kind of floated around for a little bit, did some bit parts, and then he did his film debut in a movie called Bad Boy, which was just I don't think it wasn't a Western or anything. It was just a kind of a close your eyes and you'll miss the whole movie. It was gone. Floated around, and then we got up to where we get to Audie Murphy, where he begins. 1950, a movie called The Kid from Texas comes out. Now this gets people interested in Audie Murphy. It's like he's just starting, he's not blowing people away with his acting abilities just yet, So he did The Kid from Texas in 1950, which I have on this set here. Let me just talk about this set for a minute. This is called the Audie Murphy Ultimate Western Collection. And this is something that was released, I believe, from the Australian company Viavision. And it consists of two sets. Audie Murphy, the Man of the West Collection, which has six or seven movies on that one. And then there's part 2, Man of the West Collection 2. And that has 6 movies and a bonus. It's got some trailers and stuff on it. But those were released from Viavision. Now, a lot of the movies I'm going to read off from that he's done, his career, are on this. And this is a great collection because all the movies look really good in this. I think you can find it on eBay. I think you can find it on Amazon, but I think it's cheaper on eBay. I think you can get it around the $40 mark, somewhere in there, but I highly recommend this if you're getting into Audie Murphy, because you're going to get a lot of his westerns all at once. So The Kid from Texas, Sierra, I believe Kansas Raiders. Yeah, Kansas Raiders is on here. Those are on there. He did those all during 1950. And I was going to show you this set. This is a set that has Sierra on there and Kansas Raiders. This is a 10 movies classic Western set. I've shown this both summers because it's got Randolph Scott on here. It's got Joel McCREA on here. Great set to pick it up. This is like, you can get this like $6 on Amazon. But 1951 rolls around. John Huston gets with Joel McCREA. He gets with Audie Murphy, and they start working on a movie based on Stephen Crane's short story, The Red Badge of Courage. And they filmed the movie in 1951. He goes over to MGM, and he makes this movie for John Huston as the director. And it's a real good movie of courage, of cowardness, classic story. A lot of people didn't like the fact that it, so soon after World War II, that it's a movie about cowardness, and because people were wanting to see movies about heroes and stuff. But it kind of showed the flip side of things, and I'll get more into some of Audie Murphy's life to come. But he did this movie in 1951. Highly recommend The Red Badge of Courage. He did The Cimarron Kid in 1951 also. That's on this set. And then after that, guys, he did The Duel at Silver Creek, which was 1952. 1952, did a Duel at Silver Creek. This was for Universal. I think this, somewhere along in here, he starts his Universal career. He did like a, I don't know if it was like a 7-picture deal or something for so much money a week. He was getting paid very well. People were starting to like him. I think by this time Duel Silver Creek came out, he was like bona fide. He was just a bona fide star up there with Randolph Scott, Joel McCrea, John Wayne, and stuff like that. But this is a great movie. You can find this easily. This is the DVD. All of these are going to be on DVD, guys. I think there's one set of his that's on Blu-ray. That's like 3 of them from Kino. But a lot of his movies aren't on Blu-ray. But this is easy to find. This has been out for almost 20 years. This has been out forever. But it's easy to find. Duel at Silver Creek. 1953, he did a movie called Gunsmoke. Now this is obviously this is a public domain, or not public domain, this is like a bootleg somebody made. The copy on the disc is basically off of television, but it looks good. It's not that bad. But I think Gunsmoke is hard to find, which is why it's out. It's obviously somebody that was a fan of Audie Murphy put this out. So Gunsmoke, you can find this in this version here. I mean, I was really trying to get all his movies and stuff, so, but it doesn't look bad. Next up, guys, he did a movie called Column South, which is on this French 3-disc set, which is really cool. It's got a French language track. It's got the English track, of course. And I believe it has subtitles. I'm not 100%, but I think it has subtitles. But yeah, this is a French set. This is a Region 2 PAL set. But he did the movie called Column South. That's on this one. It's got also 2 more. I'll show you those in a minute. Let's see, Column South. And then he did a movie, I think this was at Universal too. It's called Tumbleweed. Now this doesn't have an official release. Now this begins, I'm going to tell you about these. There's a whole series of these releases, and they're no company release. I guess they're released by somebody's releasing them. But a lot of loving care went into this. This is a reproduction of the poster, of course. The disc looks great. So I'm not sure where these movies come from, but the movies look really good on here. It's not an official Universal release, so I'm not sure where these these prints originated for these DVDs. They look really good. But to the movie, Tumbleweed was done in 1953, I believe. Really good movie. Next up, he did a movie called Ride Clear of Diablo. Let's see, yeah, that's on this set. That's on this big set here. Next up, this is a really great movie. This is probably one of my favorite of his westerns that he did. 1954, he would do a movie. He would team up with Walter Brennan, who is awesome in this movie. He is really good in this movie. I mean, he was always a supporting player, but man, he really was a good actor. The movie is called Drums Across the River. This is part of a TCM set that came out that had about, I think, 4 movies. Similar artwork to this. There's also a Joel McCrea set just like that from TCM, and a Randolph Scott set just like this. But since I had the other movies on that deluxe set, I just got the individual one that I needed, which was Drums Across the River. Now this is a super good movie. This is a movie about betrayal, about Indian relations. It's got a lot of great acting in it, a lot of great tense scenes. Super good movie, beautiful color, beautiful Technicolor in this. So Drums Across the River. this was 1954, so I'm not sure if they did if they did a widescreen movie yet. I can't remember if that's widescreen. So yeah, he did Drums Across the River, and then next up he did a remake of Destry Rides Again, which was the famous 1939 Jimmy Stewart Marlena Dietrich movie, which is a classic. Which, you know, it's been remade a lot, but it was remade by Universal in 1950. I think, was it 1954? Yeah, 1954 was remade. I don't have a deluxe set of it. I just have this one single, just a single disc release, because all of them were kind of expensive, and they were available in the UK and stuff like that. So it was very expensive. It's probably my least favorite Audie Murphy movie, just because it seems like he's just kind of sleepwalking through the movie. Everybody's not very good. It's a very pale comparison to the original. I mean, it's almost a scene for scene remake. It has a good director behind it, but it's just, it falls flat somehow, and unfortunately it's not that great. After Destry, 1955, he releases a book about his Army experience, about his life before the Army. It's called To Hell and Back, and it was a very successful book. It came out, and Universal wanted to make a movie of the book, which they released. This is a famous war movie. A lot of people have probably seen it. To Hell and Back, the movie. This is the widescreen Universal DVD release of this. I believe it's coming out on Blu-ray soon from Kino, so keep your eyes out for that. But To Hell and Back is a great movie. It was done with a lot of care, a lot of realistic situations went into, a lot of technical stuff they got right in it. But yeah, it's a great war picture. Briefly kind of tells the story of Audie Murphy and him getting in the Army and stuff, and his heroic deeds and everything he did. It's focused on that. So, of course, it's a great movie. So after To Hell and Back, he was back at Universal. 1956, after the book deal release and the movie deal kind of settled down, he took some time off. 1956 rolls around. He does a movie called Walk the Proud Land. Now this is one of those releases. Actually, this is a official Universal release through Bounty Classics. I think this is an Australian release, New Zealand and Australian release of Walk the Proud Land. This is a really good movie with Anne Bancroft, Pat Crowley's in it, Jay Silverheels, Walk the Proud Land. It was kind of dealing with Indian relations. It's kind of not a kill all the Indians movies. It's kind of like a more mature movie that was kind of the flavor. Well, it wasn't the flavor of the day, but a lot of the movies based on Anthony Mann and Delmer Daves putting out mature westerns, you know. Excuse me. And it falls into that category. It's one of the more mature westerns made. It wasn't for the kids or anything. So a great movie, Walk the Proud Land. Of course, you're going to have a Region 2 player for these Australian releases and UK releases, which you need a multi-region Blu-ray player or DVD player for those. Next up, after he did that, he did a movie. Well, he did Walk the Proud Land, and then he did, let me see here, I don't want to get mixed up. He did The Guns of Fort Petticoat, which I have on this French set. The Guns of Fort Petticoat, which is a good cavalry picture. He did that in 1957. And next up, after that movie, he made Night Passage with Jimmy Stewart. That's in this set also. I also have the original Night Passage release that was in a Jimmy Stewart box set from Universal. He's in that. He's very good in that too. That was alleged was going to be a story directed by Anthony Mann, and then Anthony Mann was going to direct it with Jimmy Stewart, and something like that, or Gary Cooper was going to be in it. The project kind of fell apart. Jimmy Stewart's relationship with Anthony Mann kind of fell apart during that picture, and it ended up being directed by someone else, rewritten a little bit by someone else, and then Jimmy Stewart was still attached to the project, and then Audie Murphy was in it. So it's a great movie to check that out. Night Passage, so check that out. It's on here, and it has many other regular DVD releases. After that, this is an official Universal release DVD. I did No Name on the Bullet, which was 1959, which is a great movie. Famous gunfighter comes to town. A lot of the town folks that were, doing bad things, the crooked banker, the crooked sheriff, the crooked this person, each one of them thought that he came to town to kill them. So each one of those people, it's showing the paranoia of who's this gunfighter here to get, and it kind of unfolds like that. It's really intense. It's a good performance by Audie Murphy. He's kind of a, he plays the bad gunfighter, but there's some other layers to it. He's not just a bad gunfighter, but a really good movie, classic Western, No Name on the Bullet. Which brings us up to 1960, which he did a movie for Universal called The Wild and the Innocent. That's on this set. Show the original movie poster and stuff, but teams them up with some great people. I think John Gilbert, or not John Gilbert, Gilbert Rowland, I believe, is in this, and so that's a pretty good movie. It's a little lighter-hearted and stuff. It's got some comedy in it and stuff. I'm not saying I disliked it, but it wasn't as serious as some of his other movies, which I guess I prefer more serious movies. 1959, 1960, this movie came out, Cast a Long Shadow. This is a MGM UA release, an early one, also through Timeless Media. It's also got a short documentary about his war career. That looks like it was on television or something back in the 60s or something. It's about 20 minutes, 30 minutes. So Cast a Long Shadow, another Vengeance Trail movie with basically the bank takes the family. He inherits a relative's home, a ranch and stuff, and then he has to fight for the ranch when it tries to get took away from him. So it's a pretty cool movie. It's got Terry Moore and John Denner in it. Great. You can find this easily, Cast a Long Shadow. Cast a Long Shadow. And then next up in 1960, he teams up with John Huston again to make a big sprawling CinemaScope movie with Audrey Hepburn and the great Burt Lancaster. And it's one of the few movies where he had facial hair. He has a mustache in it. He kind of plays a very kind of, I guess you could say, racist person. He hates Indians because the Kiowa Indians had killed their father. His brother is Burt Lancaster, and Audrey Hepburn is their mysterious. Is she Indian or is she not Indian? She was raised from a baby by the family. The mother of the family is played by Lillian Gish. Really good role from her. I mean, one of the most famous classic silent screen stars. But I have that set on this Burt Lancaster 7 movie collection. I have the Unforgiven is the movie. Great movie. I rewatched it because I I was sketchy. My memory was sketchy on it, and I watched it, and then I remembered it and stuff. But I think it's a great performance. He has some great performances, scenes with Burt Lancaster in the movie. But I have it on this multi-set of Burt Lancasters. But check that out. The Unforgiven is on an out-of-print Kino Blu-ray. It has a very affordable Kino DVD of the same print that you can get very easily, and it's also been released before on DVD. So we're up to Hellbent for Leather, which it came out in 1960 also, and it's on this Audie Murphy set, the big set, Ultimate Western Collection. 1960, Hellbent for Leather, great movie, super cool. But also I'm trying to think here, 1960, he also put out a movie called 7 Ways from Sundown, which he teams up with Barry Sullivan as he's a sheriff that has to basically go out alone. He goes out with his partner, which is someone who he learned from. He's like a marshal, and like the older marshal is played by oh god, I can't think of his name, but he's been in a lot of movies, a lot of great westerns. Gosh, I can't think of his name, it's on the tip of my tongue. But they're trying to bring in Barry Sullivan, who's this famous outlaw, killer, just gambler, everything. Barry Sullivan has such a good character. He puts so much into making that character. It's really good. Basically, he kills his partner, so he's out alone trying to bring this guy down. They kind of bond a little bit on the way home. They have to stay overnight in a cabin. Basically brings them back home. Great movie, 7 Ways from Sundown. The title, if you watch this movie, you'll find out why it's called that. I won't give that away. I think it's very funny scene. But great movie, 7 Ways from Sundown. This is another one of those releases. Kind of don't know where this came from, where this print came from, but this is an excellent set. You can get this on eBay, under $20, I believe. So 7 Ways from Sundown. Next up, he does a very good movie. This was a great movie. And again, this is another set, one of these mysterious sets that look so great. If somebody knows where these originate from or what company they're from, let me know in the comments. But he did a movie called Posse from Hell. It's got John Saxton in it. It's got Vic Morrow in it. Royal Dano's in it. A great movie about a mob. Basically, a lynch mob goes out to find this group of killers. They have savagely raped a girl, robbed a stagecoach, burned down a town. I mean, these guys they're just crazy. They were this crazy outlaw bunch, and they have to be stopped. So basically, Audie Murphy is kind of this no-nonsense sheriff's deputy. He puts together this crack team of people. You got the very wimpy rich guy. You got the guy who thinks he's a cocky gunfighter, but really he's not a great gunfighter at all. You have like a girl. You have some older guys that want to do some stuff. You got the guy from the Civil War who thinks he's a captain, and this plan should be done as a Civil War exercise, a team, like let's do it this way, and he's basically a loudmouth. But they're all together for a couple nights, and it's a really good movie. It unfolds. I mean, there's some scenes in it that are kind of cheesy and stuff, but really good, very entertaining. It's a very good-looking Technicolor movie. I think this is one starting to be. I believe, I'm not sure if he's still with Universal at this time. I think he started making some movies for Columbia. Next up, another set from this. It's called Six Black Horses, and it's another really good movie. It's got the great Dan Duryea in it. It's on this set. It's on the big set again, guys. If this doesn't tell you that you need to get this set, I don't know what else will, because it's got so many good movies on it. But Six Black Horses, super good movie. I thought it was really good. 1962. Next up, a movie he does called Showdown, which is also on this big Audie Murphy Ultimate set. Showdown, another great movie. I'm trying to think if it's from Columbia. I can't think for sure. That was 1963. Also 1963, he releases this movie. This is from the Warner Archive, Gunfight at Comanche Creek. Super Panavision color movie. 1963. He's a gunslinging detective. He goes undercover with this gang, and some really tense scenes in there and stuff. He spends some real time with this team, trying to bust them and trying to find out who the ringleader is. That's one of the townsfolk that they just kind of do the job for, and they don't really know who he is, but he pays them, he tells them what to do, and the whole time he's trying to find them. He's trying to find out who this guy is so he can bring in the marshals, and they can get him and everything. But this is a great movie, Gunfight at Comanche Creek. It's on the Warner Archive Collection DVD. I do not believe it's on Blu-ray. Let's see, guys. After that, he did a movie called The Quick Gun. Now, this I know for sure he was at Columbia. This is a Columbia. I think this is Columbia, or is this Universal still? Can't really tell, guys. This is either a on-demand Universal or on-demand Columbia pictures. Some of those they burned on-demand movies, kind of like Warner Archive is. But he did the Quick Gun. This is one of those releases which you can find pretty easily. 1964. Get my cheat list here. 1964. The Quick Gun, which is really good. His skills is put to test in this movie. Really good. Now, all these movies are really good. I'll tell you if it's not so good or anything. But if you start becoming really into Audie Murphy's westerns, you're going to get them all. I think the only one I didn't like as much was Destry, and we went over that. The next movie, 1964, still was he was pretty active in the 60s, early 60s, putting out multiple movies in 1 year. He's starting to slow down now. This movie, next one, Bullet for a Bad Man, which is another gunslinger movie. Super cool movie. It's got Darren McGavin in it, which you might know as the father from The Christmas Story. Which is weird because he looks just as old, or he looks just like he did in 1983 as he did in 1963. So he didn't age much in 20 years. He still looks like the father from A Christmas Story going up against Audie Murphy. Audie Murphy used to ride in a gang with Darren McGavin. He settled down. Darren McGavin went to prison. His wife divorced him. Audie Murphy ended up marrying his ex-wife and raising his newborn son that he never met. So his son only knows Audie Murphy as his father, and then Darren McGavin gets out of prison and he wants to come home, take his wife, get his kid, and try to pick up where he left off. But he's just only halfway there. He's still wanting to rob, stagecoaches and be a bandit and gunslinger and everything. And so Audie Murphy is basically sent out to get him and bring him down and stuff, because it means more. Two things it means to him. It means his family, and it means stopping him for his job. I can't think of what he is. if he's made deputized. I'm not really sure, but he's sent out to get them and stuff. But this is a really good movie. It's another one of those releases, a really good print on a mysterious release DVD. It's got original artwork, really good. Next up, but that was Bullet for a Bad Man. We got Apache Rifles, which is on the Audie Murphy Ultimate Western Collection. He's with Columbia now. Really good movie. What can I say? Super good. After that, he teams up with William Whitney, who's a big influence on Quentin Tarantino. Tarantino talks a lot about William Whitney, especially during Once Upon a Time in Hollywood when he was making that movie. I think he based some of the characters on some of the directors and people on William Whitney and the Audie Murphy during that time frame. In this movie especially, this is one of Quentin Tarantino's favorite westerns, Arizona Raiders. And this is a beautiful release. This is a Columbia Pictures release. This is official release. I don't believe it's a burned on disc. But this is from Columbia Sony Pictures, 1965. Arizona Raiders, man. This has two. It starts out a movie. It kind of starts and it kind of ends, and then it begins again with this other story. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool how William Whitney put that together. And Audie Murphy he really shines in this movie. He's a raider turned ranger. So very action packed, very, very great. Very great. Next up, we got a movie called Gunpoint from 1966. And that's on this Audie Murphy set again. Hint, hint. I think you need to get this set, people out there. Gunpoint, good movie. Pretty good. When I say pretty good, I mean it's good. Next up, guys, we got a movie called The Texan, which I should have just left this up because it's on this set again. The Ultimate Western Collection, The Texan, 1966. Which we're coming down to the very last movies, very last westerns that Audie Murphy will make. That's the last movie on that set, which means get that set, guys. It has all the great movies. So we're winding down to the last movies. His last official movie that he starred in that was released, that was him in, was a movie called 40 Guns to Apache Pass, which is a really good movie. Really cool storyline. It's got some great supporting actors in it. Again, this is one of those releases. I think these might be Australian releases. I'm not really sure. But there you go. 40 Guns to Apache Pass. Really good movie. His final movie, his last official movie. I think he teamed up with Bud Boddicker to make a movie. I can't think of the title of it. I don't have it. It's not highly rated at all. Unfortunately, it was the last official movie that Bud Boddicker would make and release. I think he worked on documentaries after that. Fortunately, this is the last movie with Audie Murphy in it, which he was only just a bit part, kind of a guest star in the movie. Just kind of came on and went off. He wasn't even in it. And then that was it. A couple years go by. He apparently gets into some financial trouble. He's dealing with some people in Las Vegas. He's having money troubles. This whole time he's been like a rancher raising thoroughbred horses and dealing with buying and selling, raising horses and stuff. And he gets into some money trouble. I'm not sure if he picked. He was still looking at some movie projects during this time. It was kind of a very transitional time for him. 69, 70, didn't make any movies. I think he still did some television appearances throughout this whole time period. But in 1971, he was in Virginia, flying over with a small group of people in a small aircraft, flying over to a town to deal with some, I'm not exactly sure, some business affairs of his. When the plane went down, maybe it hit some fog or something, and it crashed, killing everyone in 1971. And Audie Murphy would pass away. That would be the end. He leaves behind his wife and 2 boys. I think his wife and boys, she ends up becoming a nurse, I think working at a VA hospital, I believe. I think they had to sell off everything to settle debts and stuff, and she basically raised her son and everything, working at I think a VA hospital, if I'm not mistaken. And that's about it. And Audie Murphy becomes a legend after that. Great. I mean, he leaves a great list of movies to watch. I mean, he's known for. I mean, he's got the 60s period. He's got the early 60s period. You know, he's got the movies in the 50s. He just leaves a great legacy of movies to watch. Multifaceted man. He wasn't just a great movie star. He was a hero. He was a highly ranked soldier, an officer, a major. He was so much more, and I really salute him. He is a hero to many people. Great Western star, and his career and his life ended way too soon. He was only in his 40s when he died. I could see him maybe going the route of Clint Eastwood in the 70s and doing, you know, probably detective movies, you know, working with Don Siegel, making like Clint Eastwood, Dirty Harry type movies. I could see him doing Charles Bronson type stuff, probably going into the 80s and stuff. But I would have saw him doing a great career following Clint Eastwood, Charles Bronson, doing types of movies like that, police type movies. I think he would have been good in those. But he died way too soon, way too young. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed myself watching these movies over the past month of July. It was fun tracking down these movies and watching them. Again, I totally recommend getting that set, the multi-set Man of the West set. It's got all these movies on it. Get yourself a Region B player, get your multi-region player, guys, because there's so many movies out there in the UK, Australia, places like that are region locked, and you can't watch them on regular American Blu-ray setup, so you really have to get a multi-region player. You can get one for under $300, probably $250 range. Excuse me. Check on eBay, you can find some. I've found 2 on eBay, and they've been great players. I've never had a problem with them. But there you go, guys. If you like this episode, give me a thumbs up and give me some comments on what you think about Audie Murphy. What's your memories of him? What are your favorite movies of Audie Murphy? And again, just give me a thumbs up, give me a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Check out, I got other Western people I've saluted: Randolph Scott, Joel McCREA. I've done a ton of Western videos if you like Westerns. So check my channel out, check out some of these other videos I have, and I will see you guys later. Hope you enjoyed the movie or this episode, and go out there and get you some Audie Murphy videos today. Check them out on YouTube if you have to, stream them wherever you have to. Check out Audie Murphy, who's a great actor, great Western star. And until next time, guys, I will see you again. Take it easy out there, be careful, and watch good movies.